Hey everybody, so today we're going to be talking about how to find arc measure based on central and inscribed angles. If you look at the mini lesson, they talk about two arcs. So the first being a minor arc, second being a major arc. For the minor arc, that is the same exact measure as your central angle. Typically, this is less than 90 degrees. So here, your minor arc is from A to C, which is here. And if your angle, your central angle of AOC, for example, is, let's say, 60 degrees. So if this is 60 degrees, then the arc is going to be the exact same measurement. It works the same for the major arc. However, the major arc is on the outside, so that's your bigger arc here. So in this case, if your central angle is 300 degrees, then your major arc will also be 300 degrees. Okay? Just like I said, for central angle, if your central angle is a specific measurement, your arc is going to be the exact same thing. So let's say, for example, this one is 55 degrees, then your arc here will also be 55 degrees. Okay? Inscribed angle works a little bit differently. Your inscribed angle is half of the arc. So let's say the arc here was 110 degrees, then that inscribed angle will be 55 degrees. So it works either way. If you're going from inscribed to the arc, you double the angle. But if you're going from arc to the inscribed, you cut it in half. So now let's look at some questions here. So this is going to be based on a survey that was asked by teenagers and to talk about whether they like a musician, an athlete, actor, inventor, or another person. So if you look at the diagram, it says, whom would you rather meet? So for part A, it's asking us for the measure of arc AC. So if I'm going from A to C, I'm going to go straight through B to C. So in this case, I'm going to add together my 29 and my 108. So the measure of arc AC is going to be 29 degrees plus 108 degrees. And when we add those together, that is going to equal to 137 degrees. Okay? Now if we look at the next one, for the measure of arc ADC, so from A to D to C. So notice how I labeled it based on how it's read. So in this case, it's going to be the actor, which is 79 degrees, plus other, which is 61 degrees, plus an athlete, which is 83 degrees. When you add all of this together, that's going to give you 223 degrees. So keep in mind, your central angle is going to have the exact same degree measure as your arc. Now for the measure of arc ACD, so that's actually going in the other direction. So in this case, arc from A to C to D. So that's going to include 29 degrees for our inventor, plus 108 degrees for our musician, plus 83 degrees for those of us who would like to meet an athlete, and altogether, that's 220 degrees. Lastly, for arc EBD, so if we go here for arc E to B to D, if you notice, it is everything except our other. So another way you can do this would actually take the total degrees in a circle, which is 360, and you're going to subtract 61 degrees in order to get 200. So this is going to give you 299 degrees. Okay, so now let's do a couple of practice for our inscribed angles here. So now for our inscribed angles, keep in mind that the inscribed angle is half the measure of your arc. So this here for part 2, if this is 84 degrees as the arc of BC, then 84 divided by 2 is going to give us 42 degrees. So I know in here the measure of angle A is 42 degrees. Okay? For the measure of angle G now, because it is gearing us towards the arc of DF, we need to figure out how big that arc is. So what we can do is add 120 plus 70 to equal to 190 degrees, and then subtract that from 360. So 360 minus 190 is equal to 170. So I know that this arc here is 170 degrees. And then I'm going to take that 170 and divide it by 2 to give us our angle measurement. So 170 divided by 2 is 85. Therefore, angle DGF is 85 degrees. Moving on to angle N, same concept here. If I know that NL goes from one end to the other and through the center, that is a diameter, so I know this is 180 degrees here. So therefore, this other half is going to also have to be a semicircle. So that's a semicircle. So what I can do is take my 180, subtract 160 to give me 20 degrees for this arc right here. And then I know that my angle on the inside is half of that. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 degrees. Lastly, for the arc of RS, so here they give us our inscribed angle, so I know that the arc is double. So 67 times 2 will give us 134 degrees. So I know the arc here of RS is going to be 134 degrees. So that wraps up on inscribed and central angles. See you all soon.